Good morning! One more day in Malta. Today we woke up very early. It's 8 a.m. and we are already waiting for our ferry. We're going to the Gozo island and takes more or less 45 minutes from here. And we wanted to go early to have time to explore a little bit. We saw that there are some viewing points. There's a church that's nice to visit. So today our day will be in Gozo.
So we took down now the elevator when you are in the city of Valletta. The city is located in a hill, and if you want to go down to the harbor you can walk around 20-25 minutes, or you can take an elevator down for €1, and I think it's a good decision to do that to avoid to walk all that way down and later up.
We just arrived to Gozo. The ferry was punctual, arrived also exactly at the expected time. We are gonna explore the island by bus. The weather, I don't know, it's a little bit cloudy, but there's no forecast of rain, so I think it will be good.
Our second stop today is the Pinu Basilica.
So this church was initially only a chapel, and it was built in the 16th century. But then, due to the amount of visitors, they decided to expand it, and around 1916 they started this construction, and since 1932 this has the status of basilica given by the Pope. We have just visited the church, and well, we could not film inside because there was a holy mass happening, and we thought it was a little bit disrespectful if we just put the camera in front of the faces of the people that are there, the priests and stuff. But what we can say is that it's really worth the visit. It's really beautiful inside. It's a very calm place, and since it's a church, there are some etiquette we have to have, right? So they advise you to come and cover your knees, cover your shoulders, and yeah, it's a really nice place.
took now the bus to another small bay, the Dwejra Bay, and in front of the bay you can see some shops where you can buy some drinks and some houses behind me. But when I turn the camera around, you can see that there's a small lake in front of us. On the right side there's a small beach where you can rest a bit, but you can also make a small boat trip for €5. They drag you through this hole and then you end up in the Mediterranean, I guess, and this trip takes around 50 minutes, so maybe we will do this.
Yeah, here it's also a spot for diving. We have seen people with diving clothes, so I think if you want and you like to dive, you can also go with the boat and they stop somewhere inside the cave and you can dive.
We've read that the Ramla Bay has the most beautiful beach on the island of Gozo. So we came here by bus and it's the only beach that we have visited today. But I think yes, it's super beautiful. I only would recommend you to bring your shoes with which you can walk in the water, because it's not a very sandy beach. There are a lot of stones in the water, and if you're a bit sensitive then better bring your shoes. And yeah, what else can I say? You can rent 2 chairs and 1 umbrella for around €15 per day. Since we only are here for 2 hours or so, I asked the guy if he would rent it to us for €10, and he said yeah, it's okay. For today it's okay. So I think you always can trade also a bit with the people here. And now we enjoy the afternoon in Gozo, and later we go back to the main island of Malta. By the way, we did all the traveling today via public transportation in Gozo. So we arrived here by ferry, and then from the ferry point we took the bus to the capital, Victoria. And from there we took another bus to the big church, and then another bus here to the beach. So in our opinion it's very easy to travel here in Gozo via public transportation, And we think you do not really need to book an extra tourist bus or a scooter or whatever, so we really can recommend to travel by public transportation here.
Yeah, and we use the same card that we have for Malta, so when you buy there it also works here. And another information about Gozo is that the capital is called Victoria/Rabat, because Rabat was the name given originally by the founders, but when the British came here they named it Victoria after the Queen Victoria at the time, so could be a little bit confusing if you're not aware of that. Even in the map you see Victoria or Rabat, but it's the same place. Hi guys, today is our last day in Malta, and to close this trip we want to make a wrap up about our experience, our expenses, and well, I think the main one, and of course what we spent more, was with our accommodation. We paid more or less 80 euro per night in a private room with a private bathroom in a relatively central location, I would say. We were in Sliema, very close to Valletta and St. Julian, so we were basically in the middle, with very easy access to both areas. We were close to public transportation, close to bars, restaurants, so it was a good area to stay. Or what do you think?
Yes, I think it was a perfect area. You only have to keep in mind, if you want to go to Valletta, you always have to take the ferry or bus.
Yes, and well, to move around here we decided to not rent a car, so we bought an unlimited ticket of bus for 7 days, and it costed us 25 euro each, so 50 euro together. But I think it was a really good decision because we could use it in all the buses. Also when we went to Gozo we could use this there. And if you think, so the normal trip for the bus is around 250, and we were here for 10 days, so it was paid, I would say. And of course if you want some more flexibility you can rent a car, but then you have to consider the expenses with deposit, with gas, parking, and also ferry if you want to go in one of the islands close by.
So to sum it up, what did we spend in a day in Malta? So first of all, every day we had a nice breakfast, of course, and we would say if you want to have a low budget breakfast, you can go to cheap restaurant and pay like 15 euro per person. But if you want to have a more fancy breakfast or brunch, then I would say we paid 25 euros, not per person, I mean for both of us. And after that, the lunch, for example, we didn't really had lunch here because during the day we were on the beach, or we were seeing some sights in Valletta, for example, so we only bought some bread or some pasticci or small fruits. So here we maybe paid 5 to 10 euros. More expensive, by the way, was the dinner, but here it also depends. If you go to a fancy restaurant you pay for 2 people around 50 to 60 euro, but then you have a starter for 2 people, you have 2 main dishes and 2 glasses of wine, but then you are around 50 to 60 euro, I would say. But from time to time we also visited a restaurant called La Crema, which is very famous here, and here you can have a low budget dinner for half of the price, and maybe 25 euros for both of us. What else did we pay during the day? Of course, we bought some water here and there. We stopped for coffee. Then I would add some extra 5 euros. On the beach, we paid for 2 sunbeds and an umbrella. On average, I would say 18 euro. And as Leti also said, we had this public transportation card. So per day we paid around then I would say less than €4 for public transportation. And last but not least, also Leti mentioned that we paid around €80 per day for the accommodation. And yeah, the sum of all of that you will be seeing now in the video. And yes, this is what we paid per day here.
Yeah, and one more thing, one of our days we visited Gozo by ferry. It's the only way to get there, and we took a ferry from Valletta. It takes 45 minutes and we paid €12 for the round trip. If you book it online in advance, you can have it, I think maximum 1 hour before you can book it. And if you buy individual tickets for one way or the other, you pay a little bit more if you buy it separately, but if you book together the round trip, you pay €12. And there, as I said before, we can also use the public transportation card, and it worked for us very well. We visited quite a few places there, everything by bus, and it was very cool.
Yes.
Malta is a destination with lots of history and also a lot of nice beaches. For this reason, it's quite packed on summer. So if we could recommend you when to come, we would definitely say end of September. That's when we are here. As you can see, the weather is still good. During this week we had around 25 to 28 degrees. So you can still enjoy a lot, and it's way less crowded than in the high summer.
So we can highly recommend Malta for 1 week to 10 days trip. If you just want to have a little bit time off from work, for example, and you want to come here and see the beautiful beaches, or you want to visit the historical sites, then Malta is the place to be for you. But I would say, or we would say that maybe 7 to 10 days is the perfect time to stay here. You do not need to stay much more long, because the island is quite small, so even after 10 days we have the feeling that we saw a lot of things. So if you come here for a week or so, it's perfect. And as Leti said before, end of September, the weather is fine. So yes.
Yeah, also English is one of the official languages for Malta, so if you speak English you will not have problems at all to communicate here. Also, the service in general is very good. There's a lot of international people from a lot of different places, and yeah, we are really happy with our choice for holidays this time, right?
Yes, we're very happy.
We are getting now to the end of one more video and also to the end of our holidays. We really hope that you have enjoyed watching us here in Malta, because, well, it was our first time doing this, but we really liked to share our experiences, our adventures. And, well, if you like this video, don't forget to drop your like here and also subscribe to our channel. And follow us also on Instagram. There we can have more real-time content and also some closer contact. And I hope to see you in the next videos. Bye bye.